Hello, today is Friday, April 24th. I'm Cindy Allen, CEO of TradeForce Multiplier, a global trade advisory services that handles everything from very mundane classification projects to large-scale risk assessment and strategy for trade. Welcome to Simply Trade, Cindy's version, where I base an international trade update on a Taylor Swift song. This is brought to you in association with Global Training Center. Good morning. Today's song is King of My Heart, and I'll get to that in a moment. So not much happening in trade this week, except one big thing, and I'll get to that in a moment at the end. Globally, the Strait of Hormuz continues to have an ongoing issue given the war in Iran. And concerningly, there have been reports that Iran has seized 2 container ships from MSC. We don't know the current status of that, but we'll continue to watch that. Very concerning for all kinds of international trade coming in and out of that area. Definitely impacting oil prices and availability still as the U.S. continues to negotiate with Iran. The White House has indicated that other tariffs will continue to be rolled out by the time Section 122 expires. The Section 232 and 301 investigations are coming fast and furious. They're continuing to move those forward in an expedited manner. So we do expect to see a lot of those that were on a list of 15 to 20 items that were being investigated for 232 to be rolled out in the next couple of months. So it's going to be a busy summer for everyone in trade. We are awaiting additional details on the Section 232 for pharmaceuticals that has not yet taken effect. That is for the name brand drugs that will have an additional tariff on them. And one note of caution, if you are a customs broker or an importer of pharmaceuticals, you want to make sure that you have all of the information that needs to be available on your paperwork, on your documentation to ensure that your broker can accurately assess the right duty amount. And that would include whether it's a generic or a name brand drug, because it does matter. Also, some of the companies that have made specific deals with the White House on these items to lower or eliminate the tariffs will have to be noted on an individual basis. And that's going to be hard if you're trying to reconcile shipping locations with an actual importer that would be subject to those lower duty rates. So a lot of work for us to do to prepare for that being rolled out effectively. On April 22nd, the Department of Commerce released a notice outlining for Canada and Mexico tariff relief on steel and aluminum being imported in the U.S. for use in the production of U.S. cars, trucks, and parts. Good news for the automotive industry, who have been struggling with the cost of the steel and aluminum to continue production in the United States. It's limited to the material as the U.S. production capacity can support. So there are some limitations, and there is an application process that has to be undergone for the Department of Commerce. You're going to get approved, but it appears then that CBP will accept on a company-by-company basis a lower duty rate, and that differs from the automotive offsets that are happening today that require a post-summary correction on a look-back phase, and also the license number for the automotive credit being included on the entry summary moving forward. So we'll continue to look at that, but it's good news for the automotive industry because it takes steel and aluminum from 50% down to 25%. All good news for everyone in the U.S. On the CBP level, comments were due last week on the electronic export manifest for vessels, ocean-going vessels. Some associations, including the NCBFA, filed comments seeking clarity on some issues, especially for NVOCCs, not necessarily for the ocean carriers, but those NVOCCs that are filing electronic manifests on the House bill level. So we'll continue to look at that and understand CBP's clarification on those items. So today's song, King of My Heart, well, why is that? Well, for months we've asked the question. Taylor Swift asked on her Reputation album, is this the end of all endings? On April 20th, this Monday, CBP answered, it's at least the beginning of the end. As CAPE was launched, it's live, it launched without incident, and this week we have crowned it the king of our heart. That's really due to it's exactly what the trade community was waiting for. We were all asking if this was true. Is this the one? Is this the one where we're going to get our refunds back? And everyone was a little surprised, I must say, that the ease of this and that it delivered. We're hearing reports that importers are seeing the duty actually taken off of their entry summaries on a line level, and that they can identify the refund amount. So that's absolutely good news. And I want to take a moment and congratulate CBP, Brandon Lord, and his whole team in the Office of Trade have done an excellent job. I haven't seen anything like it. And I was at ACE and I understood the complexities and the timing and the work that goes into deliver something of an automated nature. And even though we have better tools than when I was at CBP, 45 days to design and launch a system is absolutely remarkable. And the fact that it didn't have any issues was very good. Kate showed up. There was no drama, no system crash, no emergency delay. Although there have been a few glitches, some importers are receiving error messages that duty count be calculated. And I'm seeing a thread where those that are being rejected are due to, in large part, the cap on those three countries, UK, Japan, and the EU, where you had a cap on the duty rate, and we didn't have instructions from CBP for several weeks on how a broker needed to actually transmit that. So some of those will need an additional review. You may have to do a post-summary correction and complete those entries that are in compliance with the advice that was sent out by customs on how to do that, and then get that taken care of, and then file your CAPE refund. We're seeing just a few other issues that we're still trying to dig into, but for the most part, this has really gone well, and it's a really great experience. Very simple, only entry numbers required. That was it. Customs brokers are assisting their importer clients. A lot of the importers are doing it themselves due to the ease of this process. So I want to say it's lived up to the hype. And just like the song, once you find the one that you're looking for, don't take it for granted. So for this, we're giving CAPE the crown and saying it's definitely the king of our heart this week. Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.